What's up, everybody? My name is Bobby, aka Lumberjack Smack, and today we are going to be looking at Steamworld Quest. I am really excited because a good friend of mine and fellow podcaster, Chase Koeneke, is going to be walking me through this game. Chase, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Bobby?
I'm good. You are the gamer on the go.
That's true. Yes.
Literally, you're at my house. You came to my house to game.
I was on the go, and then I was here.
I appreciate you doing this because this is a game that I've been incredibly excited to see. You introduced me to the Steam World. Is there a thing? Is it the Steam World?
It's the Steamworld Cinematic Universe.
The Steam World. You've heard of the MCU.
Yeah.
You've heard of Westeros. You've never heard of Steam World.
Oh, yeah, I have.
It's really good.
I've enjoyed the Steamworld games a lot. Their first one was Tower Defense for the DSi.
I think I forgot about that one.
Most people have, and nobody's really played it because it was a DSiWare game, like a downloadable thing.
Got it.
So the first game that most people played was Steamworld Dig, which is like a platformer with some puzzly elements into it, kind of like a Dig Dug meets Mega Man almost.
It's really good.
It is very good, and then they've made more. They're kind of like a Pixar studio in the way that they always seem to kind of do something different each time, and they don't do many sequels. They did do a Steamworld Dig 2. At the beginning for the Switch, which was great, but they've been doing lots of different games. Steamworld Heist was another game of theirs where they did more of a like a strategy, turn-based strategy game, and this Steamworld Quest is a card game RPG.
Those are really popular right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got something like Slay the Spire that's been doing well, and that's coming to Switch as well. But Steamworld Quest is very similar, but it has kind of its own take on things, and I think it's pretty fun.
It looks cool. Like I've watched a little bit of the art on it. Obviously, I've been following the production of this game. It's Image Inform, right?
Image Inform Games. Yep.
Yeah. So they've been
Sweden, Switzerland,
someplace that's a lot nicer than where we're at.
Yes, absolutely.
But I've been watching them making this game and bringing it to light here, and I'm really excited because it does seem to have a little bit of a different art style than what some of the other games have had of theirs. And obviously, this is a very different mechanic. To your point, they're just trying some new stuff here. So why don't you just jump into it?
Yeah, I'll take you through it. So the very first thing that you should do, and anybody who is playing this game should do, is go to the options menu. And go to these game options, and you want to make sure that you enable a couple of things. You definitely want to toggle speed up.
Okay.
The movement speed in this game is super slow, and you can hold a button to do it, but tapping this just makes it automatic, and it's way better.
Okay.
I also like to show the card summaries in battle and show health bars. I don't think these are defaults on, but I think they're just really nice, so I keep them on. But once you've done that...
The hot take from Chase, everybody.
You need... Yeah,
that's why we got you here.
This game is slow. So
right. Are you talking like movement in general?
I will show you. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll jump into my save here. The cool thing about this is that it's got a chapter select. So you, I can bump out to the chapter select here, so it's got a chapter select. You can pick any of these. You keep your characters and keep your cards from previous things. It's not like you have to go back and are restrained to only use the stuff you would have had available to you. So you can go back and grind if you want. There's not really a reason to much, except that you can find hidden cards and things in the levels. So. We're going to go and do, I think, this number 3, just as a good way of showing off some stuff to you.
They do a really good job of like capturing a feeling, too. Like a lot of the menu systems and stuff from the other games are great, and this is no exception.
Yeah, this game starts with a very Princess Bride premise of it actually takes place in like the Steamworld Heist universe.
Oh, cool.
Where it's like super futuristic. And then you get to like it's a kid asking the dad, like, tell me a story.
Oh my
Very
God.
much like a Fred Savage thing. He's like, all right, well, I'll tell you about pirates and whatever. And he goes, no, I want to hear a story about dragons and medieval stuff. And he's like, oh, well, then let me tell you about the Hand of Gilgamech. And that's where this kind of comes in.
Nice.
So these 3 characters, this one on the right here is named Armilly. And she is like an aspiring knight, and she wants to like be part of that knight lifestyle. Her friend here in the witch's hat is Koeneke, and then the other guy, his name I'm forgetting. I'm kind of skipping through this to kind of find his name. Galileo. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So these guys kind of meet up. There's more characters that you'll meet along the way. But basically we'll...
And you can do different team building, I'm assuming?
Yes, you can. You'll always have 3 people in your party.
Okay.
Well, you'll get up to a higher team, but in battle you'll only have 3 available to you. So this is the faster speed, which is better. I don't know if I can slow it down.
Don't worry about
it. Oh, there it is. So this is how it usually goes.
Oh, wow.
And this is too slow.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have it be sped up.
Yeah, for sure. And you can move between your characters and the...
Yes, you can switch. There's no reason to, but you can. And then it's got like a Paper Mario thing where you can do like previous attacks to jump into a battle and get a little extra damage on things.
Nice.
Which is a great system. It's bad here because the hitboxes are terrible.
Oh, okay.
But it's not a big deal because that's not something that's going on. Anyway, so jumping through the story... The story's okay. It's not the reason you play this game, but the story's fine. It's kind of jokey or whatever.
A lot of their games are kind of punny at times.
Yes, yeah. There's some puns in here that are fine.
Yeah.
So you can destroy some stuff in the world and gain some gold for it.
Look, I love finding gold by breaking boxes.
Oh, for sure. This wagon, it doesn't work right now, but eventually it gets to be like a shop where you can buy new cards or new upgrades for your stuff.
I like that.
So let's get to a battle here. So I'm going to try, and I missed because...
I mean, like, clearly you hit him, though.
I thought I was really close, but apparently not. So when you have I have 5 characters in my party.
Okay.
And when you have more than 3, you get to choose which 3 you want. So these are the 3 that I've gone with: Koeneke, Galio, and I also forgot this dude's name, but he's rad. He's the best character in this game.
In the center there? With the katana?
Yes, he's awesome. So this is what the game is. You get into a battle, and now you have a handful of cards that you can play.
Nice.
Each character gets 8 cards per for their own personal deck, and then those, what is that, 24? Yeah, those 24 cards get mixed up into a single deck. And then you play those cards from this in your hand. You can also hold X to swap cards and see what you want. But so there's a lot of different things you can do here. So Galio can inflict poison on a foe, or he can grant a shield that can absorb damage to people. He's kind of a lot of... each character has some different things that they can do. Lots of different things you can do. You can change their decks for them to be kind of different. I like keeping Galio as like this big buffer debuffer guy.
Okay.
And then I have
he's your hype man.
Samurai guy. Totally. Samurai guy is more of like, I'm gonna do some big damage with him, and Koeneke kind of does all 3 things.
Now, are there any universal cards? Because I'm seeing like their faces on these cards beneath you.
No, there are no universal cards.
Okay.
Everybody has specific cards that they can use.
Okay.
So
you might have like a deck that gets loaded out where you don't have something for a particular individual.
Right, like I don't have any Koeneke cards in my deck right now. They're all in my... Well, I don't have them in my hand. They're in my deck somewhere.
Got it.
And I bet if I redrew some of these cards, I'd get Koeneke cards.
Okay.
But I'm not going to do that right now because it's really nice to have... What you want to do most of the time is have 3 cards for a character.
Okay.
Because then you can start doing combos, and combos are great. So you see these cogs up at the top, those area things. That's like how that's like your mana meter almost. If you've ever played like a Magic the Gathering or a Hearthstone kind of game.
Look at me, you know.
Oh yes, totally. So when you're using these attacks, there's attacks there's cards that will gain you cogs or steam pressure they call in this game.
Yeah.
And then there's cards that will cost you cogs.
Okay.
And then it's the way you kind of combo off those things. So you see how this one doesn't have any numbers on it at all. That gains you a cog. This poison has that cog 0. It doesn't cost anything to use, but it also doesn't gain you anything to use. And then this one that I need more, that means I have to spend a cog to get. So
now, can you kind of lay your cards out that you're going to play?
You get to play 3 cards each turn.
Yep.
There's some things that allow you to play 4 cards.
Okay.
But most of the time you're playing 3. And if you can play 3, you get to pick. So I can say I want to use this one first, and I can pick that Auric. That's his name. So I can say I want to give Auric that shield. Then I want to poison this guy, and then I want to use this, and that's going to be my turn, and that'll be fine. But I can also say, you know what? I don't want to do that.
Okay. Because I was curious about the pressure or the steam pressure at the top.
Yeah.
Like, if you were really curious or like being hyper aware, like how you were spending or what you're going to do. Like if you could like plan it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the math isn't really that hard either. It's +1 here, 0, -1, and I can figure that out. So I'm going to play 3 Galio cards, and I'll show you why.
Okay.
So first, pain gain on Auric. I'm going to poison this guy, and then I'm going to set up regeneration, so I start gaining health back each time. Even though I'm full health, it's fine, and it'll be helpful. So now I've got a chain combo, so you see this 4th card, Guardian. That's an extra card that just gets added in. It's like Galio's... Yeah, you don't draw it. It's just Galio's special. If you play 3 Galio cards, then you get a Galio special.
Is that what made a combo then? Because
yes,
3 of his?
Exactly.
Okay.
So he'll then add some extra healing and then a strength buff. So now your whole turn happens like that. And now the bees get to have their turn. Or wasps or whatever they are. So now I've got...
Beedrill from the...
They do look a lot like that, and then they do kind of the classic RPG thing of reskinning enemies later.
Okay.
So now you see the one on the top there, top right is poisoned. The guy on the bottom right, he did something like an evasive stance, so he's harder to hit now. You can see his little evasive thing on the bottom of his health bar. And then you can see on my guys.
Buffs and debuffs will be beneath the health bars?
Yes, you can see on my guys I have buffs and debuffs as well.
Okay.
Okay, so I got a Koeneke card in here, so I could play that if I wanted to. I've got this regular punch from Galio, which is fine, but I think we can do something else. We're probably going to be an Auric turn here since we've got so many Auric cards, but then I can redraw with X. So now you can see on the bottom left that I've got 1 more redraw that I can do.
These cards are so cool looking.
They do look really nice, and you can look at the details of them and see specifically more of what they do. It's pretty cool.
I love the 0 and 1s at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the binary stuff, like their punch cards.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Cool. So let's see if we get a better. Okay, we'll keep that for next turn. I'm gonna have Auric now. He's gonna try this card and this card, and this one's interesting because you only get to use it once per battle. But it brings in 3 new cards, these calculated strike cards, which are pretty strong. So I'm spending 1 card, but I know I'll be getting more Auric cards in my deck, and I'll be able to do more Auric chains.
Nice.
And Auric's chain ability, it changes on what weapon they have, and you can change out weapons later. But when I have that, now he gets haste. Haste is his special ability.
So you can just start to get some like nasty things.
You can really do some nasty stuff, and haste will allow me to play a 4th card in a turn, which can be some even dirtier combos. So he'll kind of do this storm thing. By the way, my characters are super strong right now because I've beaten the game. So I'm at level 43 right now. These battles would take a little longer if you're
no, sure, yeah. So is there? You said you're level 43.
Yes.
And is there a cap?
I don't know if there's a cap, but characters level at different rates. So my main team here, you can see Koeneke, Galio, Auric. They're all 43. Armilly and the twins, Terra and Thane, they are not as strong. They're at 36 and 37 because I just don't use them very often.
Do they get any XP for not being present?
They get less XP, but they do get XP.
Okay, cool.
So let's jump out of this level so we can play something a little tougher.
Okay.
Maybe not that tough.
Does it? So yeah, talk to me a little bit while you're picking this. Let's talk about like the approachability of the game, like for a new beginner, but then also like how does the skill progress in the game? Like how hard did you find the game to be?
I think this is really approachable for new players. I had a lot of cards in the deck that you just saw, but you start out with a very small amount of cards. And you also start out with just Armilly or Armilly and Koeneke. So you don't even have access to a 3rd character to start with. So it starts really easy. It doesn't even introduce the combo system until a few chapters into the game.
Wow.
So they're constantly adding new things, but it's small things. So you always feel like you kind of know what's going on.
That's awesome.
So it's never really that big.
Do you feel like it's hand-holdy, or is it still pretty...
No, I wouldn't say it's hand-holdy because you're not even aware that there are systems. Like I didn't know that there was a combo system. And then when I got to that chapter and they said, hey, by the way, there's a combo system, I went, ooh, cool, that's really neat. And then I could keep playing that way. So let's just go to another level like this. I don't really know what's going on. Again, The story's not bad, but it's not awesome in my opinion. Here, I can show off the wagon now. So you can buy different things. You did ask if there were cards that aren't for any one character. Mm-hmm. There aren't, but there are items that you can use that take the place of a card that can happen. And that's these revive kits or repair potions that give you health or can bring back characters or cure status ailments. This is still an RPG, so you can upgrade weapons, and when you upgrade weapons, they give you better stat stuff, and then they can also give you different combo abilities. So instead of that haste I had with Auric to get myself a 4th card, she can have Thunder Wave, which does storm damage to a lot of enemies.
And does it show you like a comparison, like, hey, you're going to go up, or like you currently have this, you'll be doing this with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's showing that if I picked this weapon, she would no longer have that barrier field, and then she'd have this flame reaction.
Okay.
And then I can see this detail of what does flame reaction do? It does this thing. And then there are accessories, too, that just... they're like little slot things that can give you extra buffs. And then these are materials that you can use to craft cards, and you can craft cards here. Or,
And how do you acquire currency?
Well, we showed you that you just like break stuff, but then you also get currency by beating enemies.
Okay,
and you'll just get it through that. So here are extra cards that I could just make, and then I can add them to my decks later, and then you can see that there are cards for each character. So because I use Koeneke, Galio, and Auric, they have fewer cards available because I've been buying most of their cards. And so this is a way of saying I feel like I'm playing a deck that wants to do more of this thing. Like maybe I do more physical damage and I want to do more critical hit stuff. And I know Auric has cards that allow me to upgrade my critical hit ratio. Yep. And then I have other cards that can buff his attack. So this might be something that I would really want. I'm playing an Auric deck that is a little bit more based on storm damage and confusing enemies. Sure. And so I play with a different set of cards.
And again, like you can have other characters buffing up other characters.
Definitely. Okay. And then you can even upgrade cards of taking cards that you already have, like Abs of Steel for Galio. It gives him complete physical immunity for a whole turn. And then he also has a provoke mechanic. So I can provoke an enemy, then say I have physical immunity. Oh, cool. And so if that enemy attacks me, whatever.
That's great.
But then I can go into this menu and upgrade this card and make the duration last longer. So this might make it 2 turns. In fact, let's just buy it and see what happens. So now it's upgraded. It gets a little star. And it says, okay, now I have it until the end of the next turn. So now it is a 2-turn.
Inconceivable.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool stuff. So you can find that you'll get different cards and you can do.
Is there only one upgrade per card?
No, it changes. Some cards don't get any upgrades. Some cards get up to 3, I think. But yeah, you have a lot of customizability here.
Sure.
And I wouldn't say it gives you replay value, but it gives you a reason to keep going.
Totally.
And it's
because you could play a completely different deck.
Yeah, absolutely. I could totally just switch up and say, hey, I want to use Armilly and the twins, and now I'm going to play with a completely different play style, or even with my own characters. I went from, at one point, Galio was just a big physical damage guy.
Yeah.
And then I decided, hey, you know what, I think I'm having more fun doing the buffs and debuffs with him, and making myself a little bit tankier with that. So let's get into one more battle so I can show you.
So are these worlds like big to explore? Or are they really just more like battles?
Not really. Each chapter is like a small set of I wouldn't even call them like levels.
Okay.
They're like these interconnected stages. You'll see the map at the bottom right once we get past this stuff. So you see that map. You'll get to see where you can go up and down through things.
It's kind of got like a little Moonlighter vibe to it. The map system does.
Yeah, a little bit. And it makes it very easy if you need to go in and look online for where to get some of these secret items, which are pretty well hidden. There's some pretty decently hidden ones, and they do give you at the end of a chapter, it says you found 80% of the chests, hidden chests.
And the chest is always going to be like a secret item type deal?
Yeah, it's either like a weapon or it's a accessory. It could be more materials or it could be more cards. There are hidden cards that you can only get by getting these chests.
That's awesome.
So this is like a Coliseum type fight. So this will let us play a little bit more. Okay, so easy combo here. Raise her fire damage, and then use her 2 fire attacks.
Yeah.
And then her thing gives a barrier shield to all of my guys. So that's great. Yep.
Start off giving damage and you end up protecting.
Mm-hmm. And I've also upgraded that Searing Flame attack, so now that guy's burned.
Oh,
so
wow.
You can upgrade to get more things.
Well, I mean, you did a lot of damage on him.
I did. Again, I'm still way higher than either of these guys should be. So I can poison this guy, I can poison that guy, and then I can raise my physical defense and lower their physical defense. And then I get the extra thing where I gain a little bit of extra health and gain even more damage defense.
Is that what the blue is over there? It's
no, that's the mana shields that she put up.
No, up on your health bars.
Yeah, that's the
mana
mana shield she put up. You can see the little shield icon underneath the health bar. That's showing my extra defense.
And so even after all that, you gain 2 cogs.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So let me show you one more thing here if I can get the right card. There we go. Perfect. That's the card I wanted. So here's the combo that I found to be pretty dirty. This Stone Lion thing will... The cool thing about Auric is he gets masks, and masks give him different...
Oh, yeah, I saw like a fox or something.
Yeah, that's the one he starts with. That's his like general blank one. You're kind of getting some spoilers in this by seeing his face. It's not really a spoiler, it doesn't matter, but he does take off the mask at one point. So this will let him put on this Stone Lion mask, and then he gains defenses to all those elemental things and physical damage. But even more important, he flinches an enemy, which I love doing. So we'll flinch that guy, then we'll do some storm damage to him that could confuse him because I've upgraded this card to add confusion.
Right.
And now this card has an X where the cogs are.
Yeah.
So the number of cogs you have, he will do more attacks based on how many
cogs
cogs you spend.
Oh boy.
And this will spend all of your cogs.
Sure.
But it's a great thing. It's a great combo ender if you can do it. This is going to do so much damage. I think it'll just kill the guy, but we'll see. So.
And you got haste on there.
And then I'll have haste on the next turn if he lives. So he's flinched. So he's not going to even attack next turn. And then that big storm of damage, and now he's dead.
Wow.
Yeah. It can be pretty cool. And then I think they're going to put me in another fight. So that, I mean, that's what this game is. Yeah, there are some different enemies here. They all do some of them can do some pretty nasty attacks to you, and do some pretty, like, they do a decent job of finding ways of attacking your weak points.
Right.
But one of the problems I've had with this game is that even when they're attacking my weak points, I feel like I've built a strategy that I'm so comfortable with that I can end up overtaking it, and I haven't felt the need to really switch out my characters. Now, there are extra difficulty modes. I could go higher up on a difficulty. There is also a Coliseum in here. This is a Coliseum in the story, but you can come back to this Coliseum and just fight extra hard battles that will give you new materials that will let you upgrade cards, and those battles will probably require you of like, hey, maybe you should use Armilly because she can do more physical damage.
Got it.
And a bunch of these enemies are all going to have elemental shields, so that it would be better to have that.
Now, can you swap out skills and weapons in battle?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, you're locked in your deck on this, but you can view enemies at any time and go, okay, he's really bad against arcane damage. So if I had an arcane damage dealer, I don't. I could do some good damage there. He is a little good against fire, though, so Koeneke is not the best thing against him. And so it's nice that you can just see that stuff. Or you can use your recovery items, and these are, like I said, those cards that you can use at any time.
And they're once you use them, they're gone.
Yes, those are consumable items. So I only have 11 of these ointments. I haven't felt the need to really use many of these. I'm on the normal difficulty, and occasionally I'll use a repair potion or a revive kit. I didn't really have to use revive kits until like the end of the game. But still, I think there's a lot of really cool stuff to this. The combo system, I think, is super fun. Just put these things on, and it's like, yep, now I'm just... You're doing so many different mechanical things.
There's a lot going on.
It's a really fun card game setup. There's something cool to it.
Now, do you feel like there's anything unique to this game that like other card games out there, other card RPGs don't have?
So the closest thing we talked about was Slay the Spire.
Right.
And Slay the Spire, what it has going for it is that it's a roguelike.
Yep.
So you're building a deck as the thing goes on.
Right.
And there's something really appealing about that. I'm actually really excited for Slay the Spire to come to Switch.
Same.
But this game, you are living with these cards. This is an RPG, so you're constantly building up your characters. Right. You're tinkering. And God, I love tinkering.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, I could see, like, there could be times where I might, hop on to play, and an hour goes by, and I've just been going through inventory, doing some min-maxing type stuff, and, like, tinkering around with some of those. I could see that being something I would do.
Yeah, it's really fun to, like, once I've decided on a strategy for these characters, like, Koeneke is my big fire damage dealer. Right. She's going to set fire to everything. Right. And also, if I can get her combos, she gets those mana shields, which are really helpful. You can see right now I got disabled here by this thing. I got petrified and I think it just lasts a turn, but it means I can't use any of his cards. I can't use any of Org's cards on this turn.
Would you swap those out?
So yeah, like these are useless cards right now, so I could swap them out. This is a card I want, so I can do fire damage on, let's say, her, because she's not strong to fire, and then I can just set up a big fire.
There's that barrier field.
Yeah. So
great.
Fire, more fire. Wow. More fire.
Wow, you
and
just
then
dropped
shields. It. Yeah. Again, I'm way over leveled for this part, but that's and now he's back, so now I can use more cards. It's cool. It's cool, man. I really like it. There's some. I really like Kopernica's deck.
Yeah.
A lot because like this card lets her generate extra cogs for free each turn, so that's really nice. This one allows me to get extra redraws next turn. So if I really need to make sure I get I got a combo for the next turn, I like using that. She even has a weapon that she can get later that lets you gain an additional redraw. So you can get up to 4 redraws
with her
a turn if you use the right combination of stuff. And that's just using mechanics that the cards allow you to do. It's pretty cool. I like this game a lot.
It's only on Switch, correct?
Only on Switch right now, yes.
And I was trying to look up the price right now.
It's 20, I think.
Yeah,
I believe it's 20.
$20. Mm-hmm. And so since this is a Switch game, I have to ask.
Yeah.
Did you play it primarily handheld? Did you play a lot more docked? Like, have you noticed any performance issues either way?
So I played it both ways.
Okay.
And didn't really have much of a problem. There was one issue I ran into, and that was the opening cutscene was incredibly choppy. Like it started to desync a little bit. It screwed up. It very much glitched out. I do not know if that was a one-time thing for my Switch or if that affected everybody. I don't know if they've patched it out already, but it left a very bad first impression of like, ooh, I hope this doesn't look that bad. And I tried it both on TV and in handheld mode. I just ripped it out while it was happening, and it was like, no, it's still bad. Okay. And then literally never had another problem with the game. So everything else is fine as soon as you get past that, and maybe that was just me. Let me show you one more thing because I'm so close on these cogs. I'm gonna add extra cog. First I'm gonna do this Bushido that will grant me more critical hit chance.
Okay.
So start with that. I need to start it with Auric. You can put it on anybody, but I'll give it to Auric.
Okay.
I'm going to hit him with an attack that will hopefully crit and then hopefully also confuse. And then because now I'm going to be up to a lot of cogs, I am just going to absolutely murder this guy. Actually, what I should do is confuse this other guy because this guy is not going to last the turn.
No.
So we'll just let this go. Extra critical hits, damage, and
oh my god,
absolute murder.
Oh my god,
it's an insane move. I love it so much. So yeah, that's
he's OP.
I find him essential, but I could totally see somebody going, I don't need him. Like his attacks cost too much, and I want to use Armilly instead because she can do some straight up damage. She actually has some access to fire attacks, so maybe you don't need Kopernika because you have Armilly who can do some fire attacks. The twins are able to do poison, and they're able to spread poison easier than Galio. Okay. So if you want to say, well, I really want to do a whole poison thing, and then the twins have extra stuff of we do extra damage to things that have status effects on them. So we're going to hit you with status effects, and then we're going to really punish you for it. there are reasons to play every character.
Sure.
I just found these 3 to be more in my play style.
Yeah.
And I can be super defensive. Like, I can make them flinch. I can add shields to myself. I can upgrade my physical stuff. I'm getting... my team gets super strong. But then I ran into things where I needed to beat some enemies in a certain amount of turns. Mm-hmm. And I struggled to do that because my big damage thing is this Cyclone Slash, but I need to build it up a little bit first. Sure. So I kind of turtle until I can get my big move out.
Yeah.
And so there are decks that can really take advantage of you in that way. So gives you a reason to try other things. But again, the difficulty hasn't been that bad on normal, so I haven't really needed to do that.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. This is everything I hoped it would be.
It's very cool. I recommend it for definitely for people who play games like Magic or Hearthstone and like card games.
Right.
But then people who... It honestly doesn't even feel like a card game most of the time because you're just picking attacks that you have available to you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just a really cool interface to get to your menu system. Mm-hmm. And I think especially, what I like about this is, we're playing this right now, docked on a big TV, but those cards and that menu system is still a nice size, even in handheld, I'm assuming, to where you still get a lot of benefit from that.
Yeah, the assets, the characters are really big.
Yeah.
I actually found it to be... I didn't love the art style because I really love the Steamworld Heist art style.
For sure.
And these characters felt too big at one point, but there is something nice about, this is on the Switch, you want your characters to look a little bigger.
Sure.
It is nice in handheld mode, and it works just fine.
So, I know that I have to ask this question because you and I podcasted for a few years now, and we always talk about the big end of the year.
Sure.
Game of the year. Mm-hmm. This is a game that seems to have really, found a spot with you. Do you think you'll be talking about it come December?
Yeah, absolutely. SteamWorld games, I've got a special place in my heart for, and this one is really no different. I've been enjoying the systems that it allows you to do. There's something really cool about this game, man. It's very fun.
It's got a ton of style. It seems like, on the surface, if you say, hey, this is a card game RPG, that can be a little intimidating, a little daunting for people.
Oh, sure.
But I think, given its whimsical nature and the playful tone and the dialogue, it is a little bit more approachable than what I think other RPGs are.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that anybody would say this is necessarily going to be their cup of tea, or not as much as I would, because I love these kinds of games. I think you're going to have a lot of people who go, Dig and Dig 2 are still my favorites, and I go, they're great games, but you're wrong because Quest and Heist are the absolute best games.
Well,
and
there's a lot more strategy there too.
Yeah, and I'm way more into strategy games, so that kind of tracks, I suppose.
And you talk about these types of games a lot on Gamers on the Go. Mm-hmm. Is this a game that you think you might talk about on that show?
It's very possible. I would need somebody to talk about it with.
Well, hey,
maybe that could be you, Bobby.
I would be honored to come back on and talk with you about that.
Absolutely.
It's a game that I will probably... I've had it downloaded for a while. I got it day one, which this game came out mid-April, I believe. Or late April. Mm-hmm. So it's been out for almost a month. And I've been sitting on it for a while because I wanted to do this. I wanted you to walk me through it. As you are the person who's introduced me to the other SteamWorld games, this has been great for me to get this personal walkthrough on what you like about the game. I hope that those of you who are watching and listening found a lot of benefit to it. I can tell you right now, I'm super into what's going on with it. I can tell that you are as well. I think that this is a game, if you own a Switch, you'd be silly not to pick up as a unique experience for sure. Chase, let's talk a little bit more about where your stuff's at.
Sure.
So, since I had you on the show here, I want to be able to have people find you and hear what you do.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Gamers on the Go. That is the podcast I do. You can find that at gamersonthego.com. I'm also on Twitter at Chase_Koeneke. That's nice. Koeneke.
And you're one of the co-hosts with me on the Casual Hour.
That's true.
And we are a monthly podcast on there that we talk a little bit about one particular game and some news, so you can get some more of your hot takes on those episodes as well. But
and I actually talked about this game on our last episode,
which I will have a link to in the comments of this video, so we can reference that as well if you want to have a little bit more of Chase's candid hot take on that game after watching him play. But it's been so much fun having you on. Like, I would love to have you on for more.
Absolutely.
This has been great for me to see how you approach the game and your wild mind of strategy when it comes to deck building. And this game, again, is available on Nintendo eShop. We believe it's around $20. Been out for about a month. Plays really well, both handheld and docked, and is part of that greater universe from Image and Form with the Steamworld games. So thank you guys for watching. And Chase, thank you for walking us through this game.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.